Skull Crushers are one of those units that I really want to love. They're just so expensive, it's tough to ever make them work realistically in a multiplayer scenario. Let's take a look at what they offer though. Today, Coop's going to be taking them in a land battle against the Ogres. He's got just the one unit led by the Herald of Khorne, also on a Juggernaut. We got some Furies here and some Flesh Hounds. Main line going to be 3 Halberds and an Exalted Bloodletter, along with a Cultist. 2 more Furies over here, a couple more Flesh Hounds. For the Ogres, they've got a massive wide defensive position here with 4 Noblars up front, 4 dual hand weapon bulls, more regular bulls out to the flanks here, a couple of lead belchers, 3 lead belchers in total, some trappers, and some saber tusk packs scattered around. Slaughtermaster, Lore of Beasts this time, very interesting choice. And of course, having an expensive cavalry unit, right away your win condition is going to be to secure any kind of cannon or other artillery that could potentially threaten them. To that effect, Coop's going to rush in here with these Furies, and the Khorne Furies with their extra charge and weapon damage from Frenzy will actually be able to just completely wipe these lead belchers in many cases. Even with the dual hand weapon bulls and other units rushing into support, lead belchers still take significant damage, and most importantly, they're able to get a lot of these Khorne units in position without getting completely blasted on the approach. Meanwhile, over on the far side, Flesh Hounds out trading Saber Tusk packs. They're just straight up better units in most ways, especially on leadership, being that they're demons. They're not going to rout like the Saber Tusk packs will. Over on the other side, Saber Tusks again just losing out to the Flesh Hounds here. But obviously, once the Furies start to run out of steam, then the Lead Belchers can get back online, start to fire. In terms of targeting priority, 100% you would want to focus all of them into this elite, expensive shock cavalry monster unit. Monstrous cavalry. Not quite monstrous cavalry in the same vein as Crushers that we've talked about recently, but they are just going to come in and absolutely crush this unit of Saber Tusk pack. No question about that. That is horrendous overkill, but hey, no kill like overkill. With Locust of Wrath, they'll go up to 98 melee attack, 77 charge bonus, 71 weapon strength with the Frenzy active, and of course anti-large bonus of 10 now, so just insane damage output, especially on 32 models if they can make consistent contact. But obviously, being so expensive, like any kind of cannon type artillery that will just one-shot the unit models is going to be a big problem for them to deal with. They do have quite a bit of HP per model, like 200 plus HP per model, but still, most cannons do more than that. It's just raw armor piercing damage, so definitely something to be aware of. We take a wide look at the rest of the battlefield. The Ogres are being pushed back slowly by Halberds on many fronts, but also doing significant damage in return. A Noblar is rushed out there to reinforce on those Flesh Hounds, try and help out the Saber Tusk pack, maybe not quite lose so decisively. Ogres still have a lot of unit models still on the field, but Khorne's definitely pressing in, and now the Skull Crushers moving through the woods, going to be debuffed a little bit, but of course the Ogres will be as well. Neither of them have Strider or Woodsman, so it is going to be a bit of a problem. Wiston's Wild Form there to buff up the armor and weapon damage of the Ogres. Very interesting choice of support spell usage there. Actually probably pretty solid, but at the same time, Khorne's melee prowess is such that I would think you might just want to heal sustain through, or maybe even like summon a Manticore to just dish out some shock damage or something. I'm not really sure. Anyway, it looks like a debuff here. Is this going to be Curse of Onrare? Yeah, Curse of Onrare giving a massive melee attack, melee defense debuff here on all of these units. Going to be pretty impactful, I would imagine, but unfortunately it's not really enough to save a lot of the Ogres. So most of the bulls are already still routing. These dual hand weapon bulls are still taking damage just from the anti-large bonus. Speaking of which, anti-large bonus of the Skull Crushers going to be felt as they just punch through continuously, ride through the Noblars, ride through the bulls, through the mists. Blood. Well, no blood yet, actually, but hopefully soon. They're going to come on through, get on these lead belchers. No question they would win this fight, but just in general, they've been able to kind of sweep through the flank and run down a number of units. Really just decisively put the pin in it. And then the Ogres, really, besides the lead belchers, didn't actually have any units which would be able to kill the Skull Crushers, right? Other than just like bogging them down over time in melee. I mean, really, like Crushers would be able to defeat them 1v1, especially with spell support. But even without spell support, I mean, I haven't tested 1v1, but I would imagine that Crushers probably win that. I don't know. What do you guys in the comments? Let me know. Go grab a friend, test it. Crushers versus Skull Crushers. And see which one is going to come out on top. Because my gut instinct is that Crushers, maybe without magic support, they might lose. But with magic support, of course, they can heal. They can get Bull Gorger for a very efficient melee attack buff and weapon strength buff. The only buff that, I mean, you have a couple of melee attack buffs with Khorne, but that's really it, right? You don't have anything else besides that. So it'd be interesting to compare kind of side by side a little bit here. Also, as the lead belters get set and get firing, you can see they start to feel some pain. And also, you know, just the ogres, they could get some armor-piercing damage. Masks would be able to fight back relatively efficiently due to the low model count there, but they're not. And as a result, Skull Crushers almost paid for themselves, which is pretty impressive. I don't know if I've ever seen them actually pay for themselves in a multiplayer context, maybe once or twice, but very, very rarely. They are a very powerful unit. They're just so expensive for what they give you. It's a little bit of a weird situation, even if they were to, like, very much completely overbuff the stats, just kind of by the nature of the unit, of having such an expensive, monstrous cavalry unit, makes it a little bit tricky, definitely. But their theoretical damage output's definitely pretty extreme, so unfortunately we didn't get to see them 1v1 versus Crushers, but again, I'll try and make that happen at some point in the near future. In the meantime, let's just have a quick comparison here. If I pull up Ogre Kingdoms and also throw in a Khorne player here, and we can just do a nice side-by-side. Skull Crushers coming in at a whopping 1,800 are the same price as the basic Crushers, right? They're the same price, 100 less than the Crushers with great weapons, which are probably a little bit more comfortable because of the anti-large bonus. The stats, of course, are higher than what you would see here normally because of the frenzy, and we saw that reflected in battle. And especially with, you know, like all the buffs going on, the frenzy and different things, and the fact that they have more unit models, you know, they have literally double the unit models, right? Means at least in theory, if all their unit models can get into contact, their damage output could be higher. But in practice, I mean, rarely will you get all of the models into contact, you know, in a given charge, especially. Once they saturate into like an infantry or cavalry unit, it can happen. Or if they get a surround, obviously on a single entity, it's a little bit easier. But just in general, harder for them to bring those extra unit models to bear. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, though. Personally, the support of the Crushers makes them a little bit better, and the fact that they have quite a bit more HP per model, right, because of the lower model count, means that they're just going to take less losses to things like cannons, right? They can literally just eat a cannonball or two a piece, I think, with how much HP per model they have, and be okay. So that's an interesting one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.